There's a version of emergency food that companies are counting on you to never open. You buy it, you stack it, and they've made their money. Whether it tastes like cardboard, cooks up like paste, or smells like a warehouse, they don't care. You bought it, they've turned a profit. I'm going to show you what the other version looks like. Food that you'll actually want to eat. Food you can make meals with, and food that you and your family can depend on. Because good enough for an emergency is not a standard that I'm willing to build my pantry around. And I don't think you should either. Hey guys, it's Jera with Wicked Prepared. And today I'm doing a deep dive on a product that I've been stocking up on and using. Ready Harvest freeze-dried food offered by Thrivalist. Before we get into it, I do want to say if you watch the video and you decide that you'd like to try this food or even just take a closer look at it, be sure to follow the link that I have here, and it's down in the description as well. This will give you access to the lowest prices, the current sales, and it's going to ensure that you actually end up on the right website. If you're already a customer, leave a comment down below and give your honest opinion. And stick around because I want to go over a few things to make sure that you're getting the best prices. That said, I'm going to tell you exactly why I choose this food, where the trade-offs are, and how to shop smart. Because the goal here is for you to build food security that actually works, not just to spend money and hope. Okay, let's talk food. Here's something that I want you to think about. Most emergency food companies are operating on a business model where they hope that you will never open the food. Not because they never want you to face an emergency, but because they don't want to face any backlash. It's not a conspiracy, it's just economics. Their shelf life is the selling point. Their packaging is the selling point. Whether it actually tastes good, cooks well, or sustains your family, that part they don't lose sleep over, which is why so many people end up with buckets full of sodium-loaded, preservative-packed pouches that technically qualify as food, but aren't something anyone would choose to eat. And look, I've heard the argument, if you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything. Think about what that actually means in practice. Some of the situations where you'd be reaching for your food storage aren't necessarily exactly apocalyptic. A power outage, an evacuation order, maybe a job loss, a health crisis, or any kind of stretch where the grocery store isn't an option. Not the end of the world, but still high-stress situations. Your family's worried, you're already stretched, and now you're dealing with food that doesn't taste right, that your kids are pushing away, that you don't actually know how to cook, and you can barely force yourself to eat. That's not a survival advantage. That's one more problem and one more thing to worry about. And for the money people spend on food storage, that's not acceptable. So when I'm evaluating whether a food storage product is worth my money, here's my actual standard. Can I cook with it? Real meals, not just add hot water and wait. Will my family eat it without a fuss? Does it have actual nutritional value? And is the company that's making it genuinely invested in quality? That's the bar. Let me show you how Thrivalist and Ready Harvest fare when they're put to the test. Thrivalist is a preparedness company, and their scope goes far beyond food. They carry emergency water with a 20-year shelf life, survival tools and gear, and online courses for preparedness education. But the line that I'm reviewing today is their food storage line, Ready Harvest. Now, if you were familiar with Thrive Life at all, this might look somewhat familiar. And here's kind of the short version of why. Thrive Life's parent company stopped retail sales in 2025, and Thrivalist had been a competitor since they began back in 2011. But when Thrive Life closed, they brought on many former Thrive Life staff and affiliates, tapped into many of the sources that Thrive Life was using for food and packaging, and they more or less picked up where Thrive Life left off. They began filling the void that was left behind, and they're maintaining the same sourcing standards and quality control. Bottom line, if you trusted Thrive Life Foods, you're dealing with the same caliber of product. What I want you to understand about Thrivalist as a company is that they're family owned, there's no shareholders, they do things the right way. They're not new to the industry by any means, but they are growing quickly. And they're doing something that's very rare in the preparedness industry. They actually want you to open the food and try it at the very least, try it out. That sounds like a low bar, but it's really not, because that one philosophy changes everything about how they source, how they manufacture, and what they put their name on. Their model isn't built on you buying something that you'll never use. It's built on producing food that's worth eating for dinner on a busy Tuesday, or when the power's out for a few hours, not just for large-scale apocalyptic disasters. And that's the lens through which everything else about this product makes sense. This is the thing that most people don't fully appreciate when they first look at Ready Harvest, but it's honestly what sold me. Ready Harvest is built around and focused on high-quality single ingredients. There may come a day in the not-too-distant future when they do offer meals, complete meals. I know that's something that's being discussed, but their focus will always be on the ingredients. Chicken, ground beef, corn, onions, garlic, peppers, carrots, celery, sweet potatoes, eggs, dairy, fruit and grains, and a lot more. Real ingredients. It's real food minus the water. That's all it is. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Wouldn't it be easier to just buy the pre-made meals and be done with it? And here's why that thinking is going to cost you. When you buy a pre-made emergency meal, you have one meal. That's it. Chicken and rice pouch, that's chicken and rice every time. You might as well line your shelves with Big Macs. When you have a shelf full of single ingredients, you have flexibility. You have nutrition. It's the equivalent of a homemade meal compared to eating fast food. One can of freeze-dried chicken could be chicken soup, chicken tacos, chicken fried rice, chicken Alfredo. It can stretch across an entire week of meals depending on what else you're working with. Add the freeze-dried corn and peppers that you already have on the shelf, and suddenly you're not eating survival food, you're eating dinner. It's the same reason that most of us buy ingredients at the store or the farmer's market or grow our own. Sure, we may get a pre-made meal or take out every once in a while, but typically we're making meals by combining ingredients. For families in an emergency situation, this is genuinely a game changer because when hard times hit, food is one of the areas of normalcy that you can actually control. If your kid will eat pasta with meat sauce but won't touch a mystery stew from a pouch, which one keeps morale up? Which one keeps the household stable? Which one keeps everybody healthy and equally as important, in good spirits? Single ingredients mean you're actually cooking, which means you can actually rotate your stock when you're not in a dire situation, which means that your food storage gets used, not just stacked. It means that you gain experience and you can test out your food just like you would with any other gear. I use Ready Harvest in my regular cooking, not every meal, not every day, but when you have these foods on hand, you'll be surprised at how often you choose to reach for them. The freeze-dried vegetables rehydrate beautifully. I use them in soups and stews when I'm out of fresh. The eggs are perfect for baking. The onions, garlic, celery, all of it. It means no chopping, no peeling, no food going to waste in like a little plastic baggie in your crisper drawer. You scoop out just exactly the amount you need, and then you can put that can back on the shelf. This isn't a basement food storage project. This isn't food that you'd put away and forget about or avoid. This is a real pantry that has the added benefit of a 30-year shelf life. That's a different thing entirely. Let me give you the specifics on quality because the details matter. The cans are filled way more than most competitors. You're actually getting more food per can and not just a bunch of airspace. And the interior is coated with food-grade enamel. There's no plastic lining, there's no microplastics, no BPA, no metallic taste, no rust or corrosion. Fruits and vegetables, they're picked at their peak ripeness and they're freeze-dried almost immediately after harvest, which locks in the flavor and the nutritional value. And proteins, they're sourced from farms and ranches with incredibly strict standards. Everything is made in the USA. Every batch is checked and rechecked. And if Thrivalist isn't happy with the food from a particular source, it gets rejected. They don't just blindly ship out whatever food they can get their hands on. They focus on quality. They have standards because they want happy customers right now and happy customers 30 years from now. Now, here's the thing. Ready Harvest may not be the cheapest freeze-dried food on the market. I'm not going to pretend that it is. Quality sourcing, quality packaging, and U.S. manufacturing cost money. And I think that's worth knowing up front. If your budget is tight, and I hear you because food storage can get expensive fast, here's my advice. Start small and be strategic. I'm going to show you exactly how in just a minute, but I also want to push back a little bit on the idea that cheaper is good enough because here's the thing. Remember what I said earlier about if you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything. That's the mindset that companies selling cheap emergency food are counting on. And when you're spending money to be prepared, the goal is peace of mind. That requires knowing with confidence that your family will actually eat what's on the shelf. A bucket of cheap mystery meals and crossing your fingers that it's good is not preparedness. It's procrastination with a price tag. Okay, I want to show you something. Look at that. Those are full pieces of freeze-dried chicken. You can see the texture, the color. These are not like crumbles or powder. When I rehydrate this, it's going to look and act and taste like it came out of a fresh package. I wish I could pass some of these to you through the screen. I wish you could smell this. It's real food. It's clean food, and it's delicious. This is what quality looks like in practice. And this is why I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can depend on these products. All right, here's how to actually build smart with Thrivalist without breaking your budget. Text food to the number on the screen right now. Every month when Thrivalist drops their new specials, I'll send you a message with the link. And that is the single most budget-friendly way to build your supply. Serious discounts, bundles, and seasonal deals that are only available for a limited time window. A few tactical tips. Start with pantry cans. These are roughly a quarter of the size of a standard number 10 can. They're more affordable and they let you test flavors before you commit to a full size. If you're new to freeze-dried food, start here. Build confidence before you build volume. Try it out first and then move towards buying it in bulk. Use subscribe and save. Even if you only plan to order once, activate that subscribe and save to get your 10% discount, and then you can cancel after your order ships. It's a great way to save money on your first order and on any other orders that you may or may not place in the future. Free shipping kicks in at $100, so keep that in mind when you're building your cart. It's easy to hit with a few pantry cans or some of the survival gear or water. Buy what you already cook. Don't stockpile freeze-dried ingredients for meals that your family has never made or wouldn't like. Start with the proteins, vegetables, and dairy that match the meals you already know. The goal is a pantry that's an extension of your kitchen, not a science experiment. The way that I think about emergency food has shifted completely over the years. And I think once you make that shift, you can't go back. It's not about a stack of buckets in the corner. It's not about ticking a preparedness box. It's not about calories on a spreadsheet. It's about building a pantry that you're actually proud of, one that could sustain your family through whatever comes your way. It's about having food on hand that you have experience with, that you've tasted, that's easy to work with, food that you would actually look forward to eating, even if you're not in the middle of a doomsday scenario. If you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything, maybe. But you and your family deserve better than that, and better is completely achievable. One can, one recipe, one meal, one shelf at a time. If you want to see exactly how I use these ingredients, I've got a whole playlist of meal in a jar videos that will show you what this food actually looks like in a finished dish. I love meals in a jar because they give you the perfect opportunity to put this food to work in your home while still taking advantage of the long shelf life and the convenience. That playlist is right up here. And leave me a blue heart emoji down in the comments so I know that you stuck with me and watched all the way to the end. I'm Jera with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.